Hello, we're back. We took a little break and I hope you didn't mind some of the reruns. And today we are in my garden or backyard. And I decided to put in a water garden. And my friend Terry is helping me to put it in. Right now, as you can see, it's a big hole. A lot of preparation. We did a lot of preparation before we even started digging the hole. I had to put in some wiring so we can have a little fountain in the water garden. And I also put in a new water outlet, so I have some water in the back. This house was built in 1900, so it really was a shortage on water supplies, water pipes coming out of the house. So we needed to do that. Electrician laid the lines, and I don't know if you can see it. It's all underground, put on posts, and there's outlets. And since I had him digging, I thought I'll put another outlet way back there, and I have a little fountain there. So I have a lot of electric outlets in the garden now, what is very helpful when I have to trim hedges and so on. What I didn't tell Terry, and he discovered it this morning, that a long time ago, back behind my property was public access. That means it was an alley. And I don't know, maybe 20, 25 years ago, my neighbor bought the alley from the city. So we lost all our access from the alley. There used to be a garage underneath my house. So consequently, there was a nice gravel driveway going up. And long time ago when I started landscaping, I took some of the gravel out, but you know how it goes with gravel. It just kind of stays there. So this morning when Terry started digging, he discovered gravel, what I forgot to tell him.
Kind of a half-truth, right? Just didn't have all the information to start with.
That's right. But I was so happy that I have him here because he's a very, very busy man. And so this is going to be very exciting for me. Never had a water garden, so there's a lot of learning to do. And Terry, tell us a little bit what you're doing right now.
Well, right now we have the hole pretty well excavated and we're packing sand in it. One of the things you want to protect your liner from is puncturing, so tree roots, rocks, any debris that might move around with the frost. We need to protect that. So we pack clay along the side where your gravel was, and then we have a few steps, flat places that we're packing with sand. We're going to pack the bottom with sand also. Now these little step areas, if you ever want to add aqua plants, you'll have a place to. And they actually call them shelves, you know, like you would in the ocean.
So and I'm planning to do that to get some of those plants. And how deep are you digging?
Well, by the time we get the top of the liner, where the water level will be to the bottom of it, will be pretty close to 4 foot.
Okay, so that means then the fishies can stay there?
The fishies can stay in there if you provide some way to get oxygen to that. And there's several things you can do. A bigger pond, maybe you want to put a bale of straw in, or just a piece of straw. A couple of logs, something like that, that will expand with the frost and still allow air to get in there.
I see. So then I really need to talk to you before winter comes what to do.
Because you can even put pipes in there and pack it with gravel, just so you get some oxygen transfer in the wintertime.
Yeah, good. And then I also could probably leave the plants, put the plants in the deepest point and leave them over winter. Yeah, so it's going to be an experience. Yeah. It's really exciting. What we did is, when I decided to have this water garden, I called Terry and he came out and kind of surveyed what space I wanted, and then he was kind enough and he drew up a plan and we kind of decided. If you look around in my garden, nothing is square. The house is a Foursquare Midwestern house. So everything on the house, the architecture is square. and I didn't want to have anything square in my garden. So all my flower beds, if you look around, everything has a little curve or a little shape.
We call that curvilinear.
That's right. Just to kind of take away from the starkness of the house, the squareness of the house. So even the little deck here is kind of, you can't get away with a deck being square, but I designed it so that, and then when you put in the bushes, everything has a little bit of a shape and form to kind of ease the starkness of the house. So and then, like I said, local electrician and plumber helped me to put all that in, so I was very well prepared for you to come.
Yeah, okay. The liner that's going in is a plastic rubber liner.
Yeah.
It's 45 mil if people understand the thickness of it, so it's a fairly thick pad. If you do puncture it, they can be repaired.
Okay.
Now we're going to, because you sit on a slope here, one of the problems we worried about was water rushing through your yard during heavy rain.
Right.
Washing into the pool, washing debris into it, maybe possibly washing areas out. So
yeah.
This bigger wall stone, which is pretty close to the dimensions of railroad ties, is about 7 inches by 7 inches. That will be on the outside edge here, so the whole pool will sit up.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of elevated, and it also will be a little bit of a focal point.
Yes.
So the whole look of this garden is going to change. What is exciting?
We had in with the flagstone.
Uh-huh.
Get a piece of the flagstone to see what we can do here. I know Susan knows what it looks like.
Yeah.
She has a couple of acres of it.
Yeah.
But, a lot of this is what we will align the side of the pool with, the edges, to make it look more natural. Mm-hmm. And then there'll be areas between the walls where there'll be dirt that we'll mulch, and then Karen will have space to plant some more flowers.
Yes, I'm looking forward to. And also I want to tell you, I requested the flagstone. When we initially talked about it, because I have still flower borders there that I need to get to weed or maybe to replace some plants. So it was very important for me that I could have access behind a little water garden, and also add a little bit to the whole.
To set pots or whatever on top of it.
Yeah. And so, and my dear neighbors, Carl and Roger, were kind enough, so Terry could park his truck back there. So it speaks well for my neighbors. They're very supportive and always seeing what kind of things I get into. But so it was, thank you, Roger and Carla. That was very nice.
You're going to feed their cat, aren't you?
Yeah, I have to have a talk with our neighborhood darling, Gunter. Because I'm sure he already came looking at it, and I don't know how we're going to keep him out of the water, but I think it's deep enough that he won't do any damage. So I see you're building it up now with dirt.
Uh-huh. And then right after lunch, we'll be pretty close. We'll be able to put the liner in. Mm-hmm. And then we'll start building the wall and laying the flagstone. Now, your pump will more than likely be over in the section underneath the apple tree there someplace for the fountain.
Yeah.
And of course, a lot of projects like this are seat of the pants, so
it could change.
We don't know exactly what it's going to look like yet.
But you will see when it's finished. And I have to, when we go in the house at a later show, I have to show you the dining room and the living room. You were there before, and it's all done. I have wallpaper on, so I'll share that with you in a later show. But Terry, I was also told if I have some water plants in there that they need to be away from the fountain because they like still water. Is that correct? So we have to make sure wherever the fountain goes.
Several different times. The fountain will probably be pretty close to the deep end. Mm-hmm. Now you can see these shelves that I've built are at different levels. There will also be some really shallow places around the edge of the pool for what they call bog plants.
Okay.
If you ever want to add those, and those are plants that will grow in real shallow water. Okay. 6 to 8 inches.
Yeah. I have to kind of research that and see what's available out there. So, and then of course the fish. I'm excited about getting the fish. And I also understand, Terry, and maybe you can help me with that. I need to wait for a while until I can put the fish and the plants in. Is that correct?
Yes.
How long do I have to wait when it's all filled? What do you
It
think?
depends on whether you use chemicals or not. A lot of
Okay.
times, you know, within a week, if you can let your water sit. Generally, chlorine that we have in our city water is not good for them, and even that is a gas that will volatilize out. So
Yeah.
within a few days, that's going to be evaporated
Okay.
out of the system.
Okay.
But
Yeah. What about, and I noticed that from my little fountain back there, what about algae? That seems to be, even with that little fountain, seems to be a
there are
problem.
tablets you can put in there.
Okay.
Some people put a little bit of Clorox in. Now, I don't know
Okay.
how much that's
Yeah.
going to affect your fish, but
We have
that will,
white
you know,
fish.
You know, if you have just a fountain, that will help your fountain some.
Okay. Okay. So.
But there
so,
are tablets, you know, algae tablets similar to what you would get for an aquarium.
Okay. So yeah, I definitely want to have fish. I think that's one of the fun parts, just having them swimming around. And what about raccoons? Will I have problems with raccoons?
Well, I don't know. You're right. I have problems with
So
it.
you are out in the country, but you know, a friend of mine, Dorothy, she had just had a problem where the raccoons got in and they just made a mess out of her water garden. So I just will see. Who knows?
Yeah.
And stay tuned. I'll tell you what will happen, and we'll see this progress. And you think by tonight?
Well, I think by tonight you'll see a big difference.
Okay.
You're seeing a big difference right now, aren't you, Susan, when you surveyed us this morning?
Yeah. Susan stopped by this morning, and Terry just started to dig. That's
well,
right.
we were
when
in the head scratching period right now. We're kind of still in the head scratching period.
No, you're
but-
not. And this looks like a pool to me. So I'm very excited about this. And like I said, it will be a learning experience.
It doesn't look real large right now. The size of the liner we're using is 20 by 15. And so a lot of people, when they think of a liner that size, they're thinking they're going to almost have a pool that size. But we have to account for the sides and the bottom.
Okay.
And if we have some extra, we'll cut that and use that as extra padding
Okay.
for some place where you might set a plant as a buffer zone for your liner.
Yeah. What do you think? How much mulch will we be using?
Well, I estimated originally about 12 to 14 bags, and it may very well not be that much.
Okay.
It depends on how much planting space there is.
Yeah, yeah. So,
But you certainly have the flexibility with the stone out here on the edge that if you ever want to make the beds larger, you simply strip the grass out.
you see, that's what I'm planning to do when the boys are gone. There'll be no grass here.
Except
That's
for your
what-
pathways.
Just the pathways. That's what I like, but I can't do it yet. And then also the neighbor children still come over, and I have to have some grass for them. But this is very exciting. So let's keep it for this right now, and then we'll be back with some more progress report. And I appreciate you talking to us.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Terry. Well, you won't believe this. The magic of television. It's almost done. Look at it. The liner is in. All the flagstone has been placed. And look at the little waterfall that Terry created for me. I didn't expect that at all. I thought maybe a little fountain would come out from the water garden, but he created a little waterfall. I am really happy. It didn't take very long, a good day. So the next step will be mulching it all in, and then of course putting in some landscaping. And I already started over there transplanting some hostas, and hopefully they will get larger. And then I like to have plants that kind of drape over the flagstone, so more of a natural setting. So it totally changes the look of my garden, and I can't wait to get some fish and things, and I have to research that. And I like to invite you back when it's all landscaped and filled in with plants. I think we'll have a wonderful time just sitting on a deck and listening to the sound of water. It's very soothing. So that's about it, my new water garden. And I'll keep you posted how it will go. But as you can see, flagstones around here, and those are the I don't know if you can see, those are the flat ones. So when I work here, I can walk on this all around. Of course, have to watch my step, and so I would fall in. And it's also, and I think Terry explained this morning to you, built in steps. So I'm planning to put my water plants right here, maybe a water lily here, and then some higher spiky plants over there in this corner. Plants need to be away from the water motion. And then just fill it all in with plants. And I have several things that I want to transplant, some that in areas where it has become very shady because of the trees have grown over the years. So I have plenty to do to landscape, and it's always fun. And I start and I never know how it will end up. But as you can see here, I already started transplanting some things that were right there in the corner by the evergreens, and we'll just fill that all in with mulch and leave it for now. I also want to point out these neat gadgets that I discovered in a catalog, high-tech catalog, and those are solar lights. The neat thing about these lights is they come with different stakes, so you can have it very high or very low, and they're powered by solar energy. So, and you can place them anywhere you want. It needs to have a direct sunlight though to be recharged. And I checked it. They usually burn 3 hours at night. They turn themselves on at dusk and then burn for 3 hours. Very flexible. You can place them anywhere you want. With those garden lights that you have, the usual ones, they're connected by wires like this, and then you always end up having lights in a row, and it's okay, but that's not the look I want to have by lighting my garden. I want to place them in different directions, also in different places. So that worked out nice for me, having those lights, and hopefully that will kind of light up the water garden. As you can see, my grass is burned pretty bad, and I haven't done anything because I knew I'll have Terry in here going around with wheelbarrows, and so the grass took quite a toll, but that's all right. If we get rain, it'll come up by next spring or even late fall. It'll be all green again and nice. I'm planning to also get another bench right there. What do you think? I think it'd be nice to just have it also for a visual point and also just sitting there and relaxing. I have my morning coffee or tea right there on the deck, and I can tell you it's quite relaxing. And also surprisingly cool, because this is a redbud tree, and when you sit underneath, it's almost like an umbrella, and it keeps it nice, and cool and shady. And also when my youngest son Alan was younger, I have in back there a sandbox, and it's shady, so it's perfect. And Alan is all fair and redheaded, so he burns really easy. So then I also have a little bench back there where it's kind of my plant hospital, especially ivy. When it gets diseased, I put it all back there and try to nurse it to health. Plants seem to like that shady, especially ivy. So I'm planning to put, maybe I can explain this, a few taller plants right here, and then tapered it down, maybe with some lower plants or with some plants that will kind of grow over the flagstone. So it won't be looking that harsh. I might also plant something here, a few plants, so the flagstone will kind of blend into the landscape. Right now it looks a little bit harsh to me, but that's how it goes when you start a project. It'll change all. In a few years, you just thought this was always here. Right now it's a little bit overwhelming because my wheels are turning and I'm thinking what plants to put in, what to do. But I'm quite pleased, and I thank Terry very much for all his hard work and fast service. It's always nice to have somebody that is a professional and can help you out. So, I think that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this little show and give you some ideas maybe to do something in your garden. And this is my newest project. And as you can see, this is my typical garden outfit. So when you drive by, you probably see me like this all the time, only with a watering can. And that's what I'm going to do now. The little plants that I put in will get a good soaking, and then off to the nursery maybe tomorrow and see what's available. And then by next week, I'm planning to get water plants and some fish. So that will be for today. I hope to see you soon. Bye.